Welcome, friends. My name is Avinash Gorakshekar, and I welcome all of you to another interesting episode of Konexio HighFlyers. Friends, in these episodes, we talk to emerging companies from emerging sectors, and we talk to the promoters of such companies so that all of us can understand their company's business model, their growth journey, and their future, expansion plans, and how that will all benefit, the investors going forward. And friends, today we got a very interesting company which is into a very niche space. The company's name is Emerald Tyre Manufacturers Limited, and we have the privilege of having the entire management team with us. We have with us Mr. V. Tirupati, who's the chairman and chairman emeritus and founder of the company. Sir, thank you very much. And we also have the other team members, Mr. V. T. Chandrasekharan, who's the chairman and managing director of the company. Mr.
Hello.
Chandrasekharan, welcome to the show. We
Thank
also have D. Ishwara Krishnan, full-time director and national marketing head of the company. Yeah, sir, welcome to the show for you also.
you.
And finally, we have Mr. V. Krishnaram, CEO and global marketing head of the company. So we have got a very, very big management team with us today. So it's nice to have a perspective from all of you. Before we start, I would just like to give a small background of the chairman. Because this is something which is very unique, and I think we can add value to all our viewers. Mr. V. Tirupati is basically has been a banker for 3 decades, and he has spent most of his time on the banking sector, and he's been the founder of the group. So, sir, thank you very much for sparing your valuable time with us. I think it's a pleasure talking to you. And without wasting time, I'll come to the first question. We would like to first understand, if you could tell us what is the business model of our company. What are the three main segments which the company caters to? Something about each segment, if we could get a bird's eye view, and then we can start.
See, we operate in the business to business and business to the consumer segments. So we manufacture off the highway tires, which are predominantly used in the off the road applications. In that, there are a very host of tires that is being manufactured. We manufacture in that segment only the industrial tires, which are used in the material handling equipments. The material handling equipment is becoming very relevant these days because of the movement of the goods from one corner to the other corner of the world. So we have started manufacturing and looking into only the movement of the goods, for which there is an equipment. That equipment needs the tires. Once the tires have been required, they will be there are very different kinds of tires in that industry. That is a solid tire is there, and then we have the pneumatic tires. We provide one-stop solution for all the industrial tire needs, and we produce all the kinds of tires that is required for the material handling equipments. And this industry we started in 2002 in a small rented place and in industrial estate in Ambattur, Chennai. Then we expanded slowly, and today we have moved to industrial estate in Gumdi Pundi, and then we have a 10-acre plot, and then we produce all the tires that are required for the industrial application under one roof. We are the
Okay.
specialists in industrial tire manufacturers.
Okay. I think very nicely articulated, sir. Now, if I would like to know, what is the installed capacity product-wise as on date, and what's the broad capacity utilization? If you can share your thoughts on this data point.
Yeah, we can bifurcate the company, the production into two lines. One is the solid tire line and the pneumatic line. The solid tires are basically, we produce about 7,000 tons a year, and the pneumatics are about 3,500 tons. Uh, in solid tires, we are almost about 65 to 70% we are utilizing capacities, whereas in pneumatics, we are almost about 80-85% is our capacity utilization.
Okay. Okay. Understood. Broadly, what is the positioning of our company in the product segment in which the company operates? If you could give us some idea as to what is the kind of positioning the company enjoys. Are we a dominant player, or are we amongst few concentrated players in the industry? Because this industry requires a lot of capital expenditure, a lot of technical expertise. So, what is the positioning of our company in the domestic as well as in the global markets?
Yeah, started in 2002. So happy to be part of the organization. Ever since the project was in paper, it was a phenomenal journey for all of us. I still remember the initial days when our founder chairman used to talk about the value addition that we need to bring on the table for all the stakeholders. And he always talk about the differentiation that we need to do, we need to make as a team, in every bit of our activities that we'll be doing. So you want a sustainable business model, and when we are inching towards our silver jubilee year, I'm so happy to share the success story of the organization. And I think whatever the credentials that have earned over the years, we are pretty confident that this is going to keep us in good stead in our growth plan that is emerging out in the coming years. And talking about our positioning in the market, so it's basically the customer perception that is going to determine the organization success. So you talk to a competitor, they will talk about Emerald as an emerging global player. You talk to a customer, they will talk about us as a high quality service provider and a solution provider. And and you talk to a competitor. I mean, they normally benchmark us for as a setting standard for their products and service. And we are also glad to say that we have brought in many, very many first in our industry, in the domestic market, so to say. The first in the line is we have got a excellent what you call range of products to provide total solution to the customers. We are in a material handling industry where the customer requires a tire and a wheel of different configuration and variations, and we have all in our basket. So basically, we are able to provide a total tire wheel solution to the customer, more relevant to the OEM business. And we also, when we entered in 2002, the market was in the nascent stage where it was about to take off, and you have few players who are working on selling products for a price. So we changed the scenario. We worked on application-based approach wherein we're able to interact with the customer, make them understand the need for going for a quality tires, which is going to improve the performance of the equipment and the overall productivity of the plant. And we also ensure that we work on a robust channel partner network to ensure that we remain closer to the customer point and service the customer. And we have an excellent direct representation, which we are able to put in place over a period of time. Because if you look at our industry, generally they work on the channel partner model where the manufacturer will be there and the product is represented by the channel partners, by the dealers. But here is a case where we feel that unless we have a direct interaction with the customers, we'll not be in a position to get the feel of what the market needs. And we are in a dynamic market. It's all the more important that we need to be available at any given point of time. We should be just a customer call away. So we are able to do that also over a period of time. And added to that, if you look at the retention rate of the customers, whether it's OEM customers, we are serving some high profile customers for the last 15 to 18 years. So the basically the brand awareness is there, the brand value is created over a period of time, and whatever good work that we have done so far, we are pretty confident that this is going to we have laid a solid foundation, so to say. So as we look at it, the market is unfolding, where there are a lot of opportunities coming our way, and we are ready for that.
I think very nicely articulated, sir. Just one more question on the product mix. If you could tell us, what is the revenue breakdown as in terms of pneumatic tires, solid tires, other products? And secondly, you mentioned something about you all have got a very well dedicated dealership network. If you could tell us, what are the kind of marketing touch points the company enjoys? If you could please share your thoughts.
See, generally, if you take the business of the company, 60% of the revenue comes from solid tires. Last year, we did about 163 crores, in which almost 93 crores comes from solid tires and the balance from pneumatics. Now, solid tire has been the driver of the company so far. Now we are catching up with pneumatic also, and therefore in a couple of years, you will almost find both of them sharing the equal volume, and we are trying to grow both the lines. Now coming back to the dealer network, as you will see in the domestic market, we were the first people to start a called Emerald Exclusive. Like industrial tires being an exclusive, network was for the first time started by Emerald Tires. And if you take the global scenario, there again, we were the first people to start overseas distribution and marketing centers at Belgium and Dubai. Basically, industrial tires are application engineering tires. You need to understand where the tire is used in order to supply the right tire. To quote an example, we supply tires to the airports of Dubai, where the ambient temperature is beyond 50. And we also supply to airports which are extremely cold weather, like Bulgaria, like you find North America, where even in the extreme of climates, we are able to supply tires. You know what is the reason? Because we have our people positioned at strategic points, not only for distribution, but also to understand the requirements of the customer, the changing trends of the market, and to supply the right tire to the customer. So, in short, the marketing strategy of the company has always been more of a customer oriented approach. And instead of just manufacturing, we also thought we should do value factoring, where the customer gets a value beyond what he pays.
Okay. I think understood. Very nicely articulated by you. Now, I was going through your prospectus and your presentation, sir. We saw that there is another small product which the company makes, that is wheel rims. Now, any strategic reason why the company got into wheel rims? I mean, what was the purpose of getting into this product? Was it ancillary to the tires which the company was making? So if you could please tell us.
No, it's very important that you cater to the OEM markets. The OEMs in the past would buy tires from us. They would buy wheels from someone else, and they would have undergo the hassle of assembling them. So today the world is moving towards a one-stop solution. Where you have the tire and wheel assembled by a company and being supplied to the OEMs. Replacement markets also need a little bit of wheels, as you service, and you know that these are industrial application tires. So many a times the wheels get worn out. As the tires get worn out, the wheels also get worn out. So they need replacements in its lifetime. So this gives us the strategic advantage to go to OEMs. In India, we virtually cater to all the OEMs. In Europe, we started with the replacement market, and we were also developing products for the OEMs. Now we are in a position to reach out to the OEMs in Europe and the US. So the tire wheel as an assembly is very critical for the success going forward.
Okay, understood. I think very nicely mentioned by you. Now, tell me one thing. What is the opportunity for us as a company? For the domestic market. Like, if I were to ask you in a very simple way, what is the opportunity basket size for basically industrial tires, that is solid tires, pneumatic tires? Typically, because we are not in the automotive sector, we are into specialized, customized, segments. So, in terms of the market size, could you give us some idea? What kind of growth can the company see over the next, say, 3 to 4 years? And you mentioned something about exports. Now, in the export market, are we present largely in the replacement market, or are we also, trying to get into the OEM market share? If you could please share your thoughts.
See, we are basically in the material handling equipment segment. The core focus is in industrial tires and wheel. Of course, we are now leveraging our success into the other tire segments also. So basically, when you talk about the potential for the industrial tires, it's basically a derived demand where the industry has to do well. When the economy performs well, the industry performs well. When the industry performs well, there is bound to be a huge demand for the material handling equipment. So there are various factors that are favoring our country at this point of time. So we see the advanced country, slowing down, whereas on the other side, India is growing. And India is gaining advantage in two ways. One is we find the major OEMs in the global arena I mean, looking at India as a possible prospective destination to have their manufacturing base. So that is going to give us tremendous opportunity since we have a long-standing presence and we have earned our reputation over a period of time. So we get the first opportunity with all these OEMs. Number one. Number two is as far as the if you look at the Indian market per se, we see that since India as a country is growing and the economy is growing, the captive consumption is also on the increase. So when this happens, this is bound to have its what you call say on the material movement, distribution, third-party logistics, e-commerce. So all these are I mean meant to increase the opportunities that are going to come our way. And Emerald as an organization, as I said, we have already laid a solid foundation. We have got all the aspects, all our bases covered, wherein we are ready to just grab the opportunities that come our way. And as we look at it, as things unfold, we have already struck a couple of major deals with a couple of major OEMs. So we are in for some exciting times ahead.
Okay.
As far as the global scenario is concerned, today the perception of India is totally different in the global scenario. And India has a very unique advantage as a manufacturing point. So any tire that comes from India is looked at as a premium product. This quality trust given by the Indian companies is really amazing. And Emerald can rightfully proud of its position because we are probably one of the companies to really make the Make in India program, a very big program 12 years back when we started doing the exhibitions abroad. So taking the marketing aspect in the global scenario, today the material handling is maturing in India and we are catching up with it. Whereas in the global market, the industry has already matured and we stand a very right chance to be an important player in that scenario. And that's the reason why we thought we must have distribution centers in Europe, where almost all the 27 countries have our channel partners working. And we get feedbacks from the market so well that we are able to adjust the expectations of the customer in a very nice way to reach to them. In short, I can tell you that Emerald has been one company which has been highly proactive both in the domestic and international market. And that in short explains the success of the company moving forward.
I think very nicely articulated by you again. Sir, what is the kind of customer profile? If we can get some marquee customer names, you all cater to the domestic as well as export markets. If if you could share, that would help our viewers immensely. So if you could please share some marquee names, that will help us understand the company's profile also in a much better manner.
See, if you take the Indian scenario, virtually every forklift manufacturer in India, be it a global manufacturer or an Indian manufacturer like Godrej, we have been one of the preferred supplier by almost all the OEMs of India, starting from Toyota to Godrej. If you take the global scenario, see, we supply to some of the best known names in the world, both in terms of the distribution network as well as the customer base. Probably to tell you that we have been the preferred supplier for almost all the Middle Eastern airlines. All the Middle Eastern airlines, they use our tires in their ground support applications. And again, in the US market, we play a very dominant role, both in the OEM segment. The world's #1 GSE manufacturer is our customer. And moving forward, every OEM looks at Emerald as very seriously. So if you take the market segment, there is a OEM, there is a replacement, and there is a high profile, high end users. Emerald is one company which has adapted itself, ready to serve the OEM through our network of partners. And as far as the service oriented after sales market is concerned, we have a fantastic dealer network across the globe to reach the customer within the shortest point of time.
I think thank you very much for answering the question. I think very nicely articulated. So now coming to the current demand scenario, if one were to understand what's the kind of demand signals which the company is seeing as of now from the domestic market, a very valid point made earlier was that as the economy grows, as India grows, infrastructure growth comes in. Obviously, application-based tires, which we make, are definitely going to see a robust demand. So, over the next, say, 3 to 4 years, hopefully the Indian economy grows by 7-8%. Then what's the kind of opportunity for us to grow in the next 3 to 4 years? What's the opportunity, runway available for us? Your thoughts, please, on this point. And secondly, on the global markets, where we are now slowly emerging as a fairly strong, dominant player. What's the picture globally? Like globally, is there also a bigger pie opportunity available for us over the next, say, 3 4 years? So on both these points, if you could please share your thoughts.
See, the global tire market is a 90 billion market, and the 10% of that is the highway tires. So 9 billion is the kitty available globally. Let us talk about India. India is becoming an emerging manufacturing hub, which means all the global manufacturers are looking at China plus one. Therefore, they are setting up shops in India. When they set shops in India, the player who is already ready with the product to supply to them is Emerald Tires. So we have the first mover advantage with the global companies coming back to India and setting up shops here. It is very evident that I can tell you we are close to signing with two global manufacturers who have already come to India, and we have done our trials. We are getting ready for supply. This is the proof of the pudding, isn't eating it. Now take the
Okay.
global scenario. It's a 9 billion market, and we have today a turnover of something close to about 160 crores, and the current year we have done a little more. Now, if you take the global potential and what we have done, we can scale to infinity. We can scale to infinity, and that's exactly what Emerald is doing. Emerald is trying to catch up with the global opportunities to be a dominant player in the global market also. So both ways, Emerald is rightly positioned to take on the domestic market emerging opportunities as well as catching up with the world requirements.
Okay. So I think
Yes.
very nicely. See, first of all, I want to understand now what is the competitive intensity in the market. By this, I mean, are there many players in the industry who supply products, or are there limited number of players who supply these kind of products to the end customer? And the second part of the question is that Emerald, what is the kind of qualitative kind of competitive mode? What is the differentiation factor when we supply products to the customer? Like I understand, the company provides solutions to the customers. The company's product quality is top class. We obviously have a very good kind of a redressal system for servicing the customer. Now, if you could tell us 2, 3 qualitative points which can stand out in favor of Emerald as compared to the other players who are operating in the industry.
I think to answer the point, I would like to tell you almost 7/8 of the major people today they do some aspect of the highway tires. If you take companies which are in the market space, they all do some portion of the OHTs. Emerald wanted to take one space in that as a niche area and started focusing on it. And that is where we landed in the material handling industry. Now, this is a very unique industry, as I explained to you, that these tires are always designed according to the usage. So, I can supply tires only if I know where the tire is used, the environment, the intensity of usage, I must know. Now, given this point, there are very few companies who have the access to market the way Emerald has. You'll be astonished to know across India, we have more than 35 channel partners in every vantage location. Now, every one of them try to understand what the customer needs, sends them to the corporate headquarters, who in turn design, understand, and provide the appropriate solution. Now, which many companies, if they are too big, they cannot focus on this. If they are too small, they cannot invest on this. Emerald has developed a unique model, whether it is in India or globally, that we always perceive the competition as a great motivator to improve our performance. So all the time we have been working how the competition comes, how we are going to counter it. Now, in this point, there are a few people in India who are offering these products, but we have been ahead of them by providing total end-to-end solution. We supply the tire, we supply the wheel, we supply to them at the point they require. We fit the tires, we deliver to them, and we do after-sales service also. Now,
Okay.
this is something that Emerald can rightly be proud of in the last 23 years. We always believe the customer is the king. And if you are able to understand his requirement, provide them the right solution, then you really make a big deal in the market.
No, I think very nicely articulated by you, sir. Now, tell me one thing. I wanted to understand: is technology a key differentiator for the company, and is it a very big variable in our industry? The kind of technology we use and the kind of technology which is prevalent globally. If you could, share your thoughts on the technology aspect, because this is something which, obviously, as you rightly mentioned, a small player cannot attempt because he's too small. And since so many years, Emerald has been in this industry. So on technology aspect, please tell us that how important it is to have the right technology so that you can give the best product to the customer.
See, as far as the tire sizes are concerned, these are all international sizes. There is there are standards, ETRTO standards and TRNI standards, JACMA standard. There's also an Indian standard. So there are standards. So we comply with these international standards as far as tire sizing is concerned. But as far as building a tire is concerned, we try to adopt the latest technology in terms of manufacturing the tires. We are into Internet of Things. We want the entire plant to be interconnected. In terms of, as Mr. Krishnaram was telling, in terms of usage of raw materials, we try to select the best of the raw materials. Incidentally, most of the raw materials are available within the country. Natural rubber being one of our major ingredients is available in Southeast Asia, or mostly in India we are able to source, or we are able to get it from Southeast Asia. Carbon black is something which is abundant in plenty these days in India itself. Rubber chemicals are also manufactured in India. So these things, we don't depend to import raw materials for manufacturing. As far as the technology is concerned, the industry keeps on improving over a period of time. So educating people to use the new technology, adopting new softwares for building tires, finite element analysis of tires, the failure patterns, all these things we keep on adding, and we keep on developing tires, so that that becomes the differentiator for us when it comes to be in competition with the larger suppliers. And the smaller suppliers cannot come to that level because it calls in for a lot of investment. So that's the area where we have been able to push and grow forward.
Okay.
And
I think,
just to add a
yeah.
few points to what Mr. Chandrasekhar said on the technology front, we have a very robust R&D department where we have the best technologists we have hired from the industry, and we keep doing a lot of research on a day-to-day basis. When we say application engineering tires, you will realize that there are plethora of applications. If we have to come back with a formulation to handle that market, you must remember what should be the type of robust R&D department that we have. And I think I'm glad to tell you that Mr. Chandrasekhar, who is our CMD, has been working on this area. He has been extensively traveling across the world. Wherever we market, he comes there to understand what is the application. And he had spent a few months in Japan to understand the total quality management system. And today I can tell you, an average employee in Emerald contributes 4 suggestions a year and has to give 2 Kaizens every month. Now, these are going to be tremendous drivers in improving the quality. Imagine a 500 team employee giving 4 suggestions a year. It becomes a pool of 2,000 suggestions. And this is one reason why this company has been able to keep in the forefront of technology. And as rightfully told by Mr. Chandrasekhar, he has been singularly focusing on improving the quality standards of the company to the global level. And that's why we have OEMs, global OEMs coming and making a beeline to Emerald Tyres to be a partner with them.
Okay. I think again very nicely explained by you, sir. Now coming to the financials, I think FY23 has been a very rock solid year. 164 crores top line and roughly about 7.9 crores profit. The first 8 months of FY24 have also been very solid. I think you all have already made a profit of more than 8 crores. Now I want to understand, what has been the reason for this sharp upsurge in top line and profitability. Is there any specific reason to this that the performance in FY24 has taken a significant acceleration, in the first 8 months already? If you could please share your thoughts.
The growth in profit has not been an accident. We have been working over the last 3 years to focus on how to improve the margins and what are the value engineering you can do. We have been working on a lot of initiatives to cut costs wherever it is. They call it muda, waste in the Japanese term. Wherever there is a waste, we have cut it. Wherever there is a possibility to improve productivity, we have done it. Wherever we could speed up by means of simple automation, we have done it. We have been working on alternative raw materials. We have been working on efficient purchases. We have tried to get high-end products into the product mix. An initiative of 10 to 12 aspects have resulted in profitability, which has increased today. It was not as if in 8 months it came. This is the initiative that we have taken post-COVID because we perceived market is going to get competitive. Margins are going to fall because competition will come. How the company can remain robust? This has been the reason why the profitability has come to this level, and we are very confident that we will be able to sustain this profitability as we move forward.
Okay, I think understood. Now, for the most important part of this interview, we would like to know the company is planning to go public. So, if you could share with us, your IPO plans and what are the kind of objective, what is the broad objective of raising money? If you could please share your thoughts for us.
We plan to raise about 40 to 50 crores from the market. Predominantly, this money will be used for the meeting the margin money requirements for the capex. The capex, as we rightly said, all this time that we have been talking to you, we were taking through you how we are going to expand our capacity, how we are going to improve our production levels and things like that. So we are need to spend money in the capex. So predominantly about 75% of the money that we are raising is going to be used for meeting both the margin money requirement for the capex as well as the long-term requirements. The balance 25% will be used for the other corporate purpose.
Okay. Okay.
This
No,
is our
understood.
basic plan.
Yeah. And I think understood. I think broadly, so the main agenda for the public issue is basically to fund the company's capital expenditure plans, which will
Yes.
obviously add more value to the company going forward. Now, one more question which I wanted to ask you on the financial side is that, if you could share with us normally what's the average working capital cycle in our business? Because, this is a large product, it takes a lot of space, a lot of logistic kind of, efforts are involved. So typically, if you take into account the inventory time, the debtors collection period time, what's the average working capital cycle in our business?
I think the industry per se has to have stock to supply to the customers. This is one of the important area that an industrial tire company will have to focus, that too with a global focus. A customer sitting in America, if he needs tire, he can't wait for us to produce all the tires and ship it. So we have a considerable amount of stock to handle the market. Again, in the domestic market, we need to give the OEMs 90 days credit period in order to get the business through. The replacement market is about 60 days. And we have two overseas wholly owned subsidiaries to whom we supply tires, they stock and sell. So overall, if you take the average working capital cycle, it comes to somewhere between 120 to 140 days, which is the essential requirement of this industry.
Okay. Fine. So basically, 120 to 140 days is the broad working capital cycle, which is a must. And I think, as you rightly mentioned, you need to have adequate inventory stock to actually cater to a large, range of customers, which is very valid in this business. Now, one broad question, now since the company is going public, I think all promoters as well as the key management people who have worked hard for so many years, all your efforts are going to be monetized, and obviously new investors are going to join you in your growth journey. So, two simple questions. One is, what is the broad succession plan? Like, now Mr. Tirupati is there as the chairman emeritus. Typically, if one could just get a sense, what is the broad succession plan? And secondly, to the new retail investors who are going to put money in your company, obviously everybody expects a decent risk reward. What could be the broad message, from the management to such investors? In the longer term, how would you plan to, reward them? Obviously, people do invest in equities for the longer term. So some broad message from the promoter and the management team that how one could, the investors could expect some rewards for them in the longer term.
Now today, I've already handed over the management to my two sons, who will succeed me as owner. From the day one of starting the company, I have divided the company into two. I have kept the management separate. I kept the ownership separate. I never mingled these two things together. And in the future also, we are not going to mingle the ownership with this one. The company will be run by professionally. So you would see all my professionals who are being with me from day one. They are staying with me for last 20, 25 years. They continue to stay here. So there's no problem as far as the succession is concerned. They have already accepted my two sons into the whole management side. So they have also been, in fact, I mean, to tell you the truth, that they have been trained by them only.
Okay.
This team has trained my sons, and so they are in a position to interact with each other very well, and they are gelling as a very good team. So I have no problem about the succession. I have handed over the things to my son. Physically, the ownership, the management is with the professionals headed by Mr. Krishnaram and Mr. Ishwar. And my sons also have been now being with the company for the last 20 years. Both of them have been gained experience. So they have also been a kind of a professionals into the company. So they keep the ownership separate and the management separate. So far that is happening. The company will have a easy succession plan for the professionals also. We have a strong second line and the professional team also. So absolutely in the years to come, we'll be able to do much better than what I have done. We are always looking for the investors to get the maximum return that is possible, because the way that we are now operating for the last 2 3 years, you can see there is a quantum jump in the profit line on the bottom lines. We are concentrating on several areas for maximizing the EBITDAs and then net margins. So the constant effort that we have been taking in the in controlling the cost and then increasing the realization, we are confident that we don't have to approach only the customers for increase in the price. We can bring in the increase in the margins by way of cutting our wastages and improving our efficiencies. We will be able to improve upon our margins substantially. That is what we are working at, and we have put in a lot of money into the. We are talking about the technical only technology improvement in manufacturing. We are also bringing in the technological improvement in reducing the cost. In what are the ways in which we can reduce the cost is what is the main source, that we have recruited the people to reduce the downtime of the equipment, to improve the productivity per equipment, productivity per employee, all those things that we have been concentrating. So there will be a substantial increase in the our bottom line as well as the EBITDA line. Both the things will be improved upon. So we'll be able to give an assurance to the investors that in the years to come, we will do our best subject to the market conditions.
Okay, I think nice to know. I think, sir, you yourself have also done a great deal for the company, and I think going forward, it seems that everything, the management, I mean, the succession plan is already into rollout stage. So, definitely, I think we also look forward for better days for Emerald going ahead. Now, one last question, which is very important, which is very elementary, and we ask all the promoters. Now, if you leave alone COVID, which was a once in a lifetime kind of event, what are the key risks in our business? Is it the raw material risk? Is it the execution risk? Is it the product quality risk? Now everything looks very rosy, but years, Indian economy is going to grow by 7-8%. Corporate capex is gaining ground. Now, in your own assessment, what is the normal major business risk which you perceive? And till now, the last 22, 23 years, we have been running this business successfully. How have you managed to monitor and take care of this risk? If you could please share your thoughts on this aspect.
See, basically, if you look at the market today, the greatest challenge is how we are going to keep up with the emerging opportunities. This is a highly capital intensive industry. Opportunities keep coming, and if we are not prepared to take on the opportunity, then we miss it forever. So, in our view, one of the biggest aspect is to gear up to get tuned to the emerging market opportunities. This, in short, is a very, very big thing today. Secondly, our ability to foresee what is going to happen in future is also going to be a major thing. Actually, I think to put it in the words of our chairman, he always says, if a business doesn't evolve, if the products don't evolve, you will be pushed out of the industry. So he always tells us, let us look at what next. What is the product we should gear up for? So if as a company, we are not looking at what are the emerging trends, then that will be a very, very big risk for the company. And that way, every day we work in the market to understand customers' requirement, redefine products, change the product mix to see that we stay afloat and keep moving forward. Thirdly, technology is the biggest disruptor today. So the ability of the company to put technology into action is going to be a major challenge. And I'm glad to tell you that we are constantly recruiting people to take the company in the right direction as far as technology is concerned. And our CMD himself, being a technologist by himself, he has been able to guide them and bring people to keep us in the forefront of technology. He was telling about predictive maintenance. We have got an app by which we can find out which machine has which problem sitting in the cabin, we can find out. We have your inventory monitoring system where you will know on a daily basis where your material is, at what time it will reach, what is the minimum order quantity, when you have to replenish it. In every aspect, we are putting the Internet of Things, the technology into action, so that we feel that if we don't take care of these things, it's going to be a big challenge. And I can confidently tell you, as the person involved in the company, we are fully geared up to take all the challenges, and we will come out victorious. As an emerging player from India, we are there to conquer the world.
I think very nice to hear that, and I think it was really a great discussion from all the team management as well as the key promoters of the company. So please accept my best wishes to you, your entire management teams, and best wishes for your forthcoming public issue also. Thank you very much to all of you.